Okay, I'm going to help you get started with your Running Man assignment. What you're going to want to do is have your pivot stick figure animator open here on the desktop. Alright, a couple things about this. Up top is a timeline, and your frames will show up as you create them. Below that is your play options for your timeline. Below that is stuff to do with your stick figure, your stick man. So you can add figures, but have more than one. But for this assignment, we really only need the one. Okay. So with your figure, you can delete them, you can edit them, you can change the color of them. Oops, change the color of the wrong one. Change the color. You can make them larger. So really, there's a lot of options. It might help to make yours a little larger, just so it's easier to see the movements. When you're getting ready to make them run, first you need to study this man running on a treadmill and make yours as realistic as possible. Now obviously a human being has a little bit of a twist to him and a couple more joints than what our stick figure animator has, but just make it look as realistic as you can. So study that. The closer you mimic that man running, the better your grade will be. So to start out, you want to know how your stick man moves. So if you look at him, he has a knee, a hip joint, an elbow, a shoulder. The neck can move. This mid section doesn't really move. Okay, so that's the one thing it doesn't move. And you can move the person around. But we're going to just be running in place. So to start out, you need to find a starting position. So maybe your stick figure is just standing there, and all of a sudden it decides to start running. And that's fine. Or you could have them start mid-stride. But get a starting position and then hit next frame. If you look up in our timeline, it added a frame. If I move something on my stick man, it leaves behind a shadow of where it was before. So you can know relative to the frame before where he's moving. So for time's sake, I'm just going to have him wave. So I'm going to hit next frame. Next frame, next frame, and you might have to move multiple things when they're running. You're going to have to move two things at once, so you might do that. You might be moving 4 or 5 things at once. A rule of thumb is if you move in smaller increments, it looks more realistic. So say like if I moved it way over here, it wouldn't look as realistic. But let's go ahead and see how that plays. And see, you can't even really see that last movement because it was such a long distance that I had to go in such a short amount of time. Okay, you can speed it up over here, the frame rate, or you can slow down the frame rate. So that's something you can play with as well. Okay, so get it as close as you can to our running man. If you finish early, you can add if you finish early and you get something that looks, pretty good, kind of like this one, you can add a jump and a roll, a kick, just something, and you get some extra credit points for that. All right, well, have fun with it.